A severe human rights crisis is unfolding in Balochistan. The Pakistan state has stepped up its violent crackdown against the Baloch people. Over the past 2 months, dozens have been forcibly disappeared or killed. Peaceful protests have been violently crushed, and human rights defenders, along with their families, have been abducted and harassed. From February to April 2025, security forces reportedly abducted, tortured, and executed Baloch civilians in areas such as Mashke, Barkhan, Khuzdar, Turbat Kalat, and Panjgur. Bodies of the missing were later found in remote areas with clear signs of torture. These actions are part of a coordinated campaign of state-sponsored violence. The Baloch Jati Committee, a peaceful organization fighting for constitutional rights and justice for the victims, has been a key target. Despite its non-violent approach, BYC has been experiencing arrest, harassment, surveillance, smear campaigns, and overt state violence. Following the armed attack on Jafar Express, an incident not connected to BYC, the state falsely linked our peaceful movement to the attack to justify a wider crackdown. However, even before this incident, the state had already begun a violent campaign against BYC. We documented targeted killings, threats to our organizers, and direct intimidation long before the Jaffa incident. On March 12, BYC member Gulzadi Baloch was abducted from her home by law enforcement agencies. She was later forced under threats to leave the BYC and join state-approved groups. On March 19, Dr Mahrang, Baloch, Gulzadi, and other colleagues held a press conference to highlight these threats. On the same day, state forces violently attacked families gathered outside Quetta Civil Hospital who were demanding to see the bodies of their disappeared loved ones. Later that night, 30 unidentified bodies were secretly buried in Quetta Kasi graveyard without informing the families. Dr Mahrang stressed the family right to identify these bodies, a basic human right which was twisted by the state into a false claim that the BYC was trying to steal the bodies. Between March 19 and now, peaceful protests in more than a dozen cities have been broken up violently by the police using tear gases, water cannons, baton, and live fire. At least 3 protesters, including a 12-year-old child, were killed and over 15 were seriously injured. More than 200 demonstrators were arrested, including noted activists and human rights defenders. While some, like Samidin Baloch, Lala Wahab Baloch, Fauzi, and Mahazib, have been released, others like Dr Mahrang Baloch, Subah Shaji Baloch, Gulzadi Baloch, Bibark Baloch, and Bibi Baloch remains in illegal detention, facing potential torture, abuses, and denial of their fair process. Balochistan is now under an unannounced martial law. Roads are blocked by the security forces using containers, barbed wires, and obstacles. This blockade is a form of collective punishment that endangers civilians' lives, especially since most of the Balochistan lacks proper medical facilities. People needing urgent care are forced to travel to Quetta or Karachi. This campaign of repression is not new. In December 2023, Baloch activists faced severe violence during a march in Islamabad. Dr Mahrang Baloch and Samidin Baloch had been prevented from traveling to international human rights events. Dr Mahrang was assaulted at Karachi airport and her passport was taken from her before she could attend an event in New York. In July 2024, even before the Jafar Express attack, the state had shut down entire districts in Gwadar to stop a peaceful national gathering. Thousands were arrested and 4 young Baloch were killed. This history shows that the hostility towards the Baloch activism has long been in place. The Pakistani government is now running a widespread disinformation campaign. State-aligned media are falsely labeling our peaceful protesters as violent to justify more state violence and cover up these crimes. We call on the international community to take urgent action. We demand the immediate release of all unlawfully detained BYC members and activists, including our organizer Dr Mahrang Baloch, Subah Shaji Baloch, Bibark Baloch, Bibu Baloch, and Gulzadi Baloch. Start independent international investigation into these enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings. Press Pakistan to stop its violence and disinformation campaign against peaceful civil society groups. Protect the rights of people to freely move, express themselves, and peacefully assemble. Help preserve evidence and testimonies that reveals crimes against humanity. This is not just a political issue, it's a dire human rights emergency. As a signatory to international human rights treaties like the ICCPR and the Convention Against Torture, Pakistan must be held accountable. The international community must act now to help protect the people of Balochistan and stop these atrocities. Thank you.